My life took a turn at 24. The top singer, Su Wanwan, broke down in tears during her concert after hearing about my death. As we grow, we gain, but we also lose. Sometimes, looking back at the days before I turned 18, it felt like a sugar-coated pill, sweet at first, then bitter in reflection, yet curative, like a farewell and a reunion all at once. I truly love you, every word unspoken, my gaze drifting, always keenly aware at crucial moments. Su Wanwan burst onto the scene as a genius singer, topping the charts at 18 with her hit song, Cherry Blossom, which swept through the Chinese music industry. She then went abroad for further studies, returned at 20 with a new album, and quickly became a sensation across the country. Now, she was about to hold a concert at the National Stadium, and her fans were buzzing with excitement, preparing their support. I really want to see Su Wanwan's concert, cried 12-year-old Chi Chi from the hospital bed next to mine, clutching her phone, but I can't get tickets. If I don't see her concert this time, I'll never get another chance. No one laughed at her words, not in this ward where most patients live day to day. When Chi Chi's mom came in with food, Chi Chi quickly hid her phone under the pillow. After eating, she squeezed onto my bed and whispered, "Brother, please don't tell my mom. I was just complaining. Tickets are hard to get and expensive. I'll just watch the concert videos later." "You like her that much?" I asked, stroking her short hair. She looked down. "Sister Wanwan's songs are so powerful. Every time I finish chemotherapy, listening to her makes the pain less intense." She then enthusiastically started telling me everything about Su Wanwan. Chi Chi gossiped. This concert is also her 24th birthday. She used to say she planned to get married at 24. I wonder if there will be any surprises at this concert. Oh well, as fans, we're already mentally prepared. It's not like we're going to marry her anyway. Chi Chi opened their fan group, where messages flooded in from fans celebrating their successful ticket purchases. "Brother, I'll tell you a secret," Chi Chi whispered, leaning close to my ear. "I think Su Wanwan and Jiang Chenxi are definitely going to announce their relationship this time." I couldn't help but laugh at her knowing look. "How do you know all this? Where do you get so much information?" Chi Chi hummed proudly. "I'm a senior member of the fan group. We all have our own sources." She explained that Jiang Chenxi had accompanied Su Wanwan when she went abroad for her studies, and they returned to the States together, inseparable. Chi Chi looked deflated as the nurse came in for her chemotherapy. A little while later, Chi Chi's mom came over, carrying a bag of oranges, looking a bit hesitant. She glanced at me a couple of times, seemingly unsure how to start. Chi Chi's mom was a delivery driver, honest and not good with words. Asking for a favor was difficult for her. "I'll find a way to get Chi Chi concert tickets," I said, taking the oranges gently. "Consider it a surprise from you to Chi Chi." The wrinkles around her eyes smoothed out, and she quickly said, "Thank you, thank you. I only asked you because I knew you used to work at an entertainment company. Just tell me how much it will cost." I sat on my hospital bed for a while, then messaged Su Wanwan. "Su Wanwan, can you get me 2 tickets? Dummy, go ask around. Who would save tickets for their ex-boyfriend?" Su Wanwan replied quickly, her pettiness thinly veiled. When Su Wanwan was 18, she uploaded a song to Penguin Music. It was called Cherry Blossom, a birthday gift for me. Within a week, the song became a sensation across all major music platforms. In the song's description, she wrote, "This song is for my boyfriend. He had a trauma before and couldn't speak, but now he can finally open his mouth. His voice, to me, is like the meaning of flowers blooming to spring." Later, many reporters interviewed Su Wanwan, asking her who the song was written for. She never answered that question, until 3 months ago, when a reporter asked about her love life. She ambiguously said she had a boyfriend, the same person she liked at 18. That short sentence exploded on social media. Fans tried everything to dig into her past, wanting to know who the person she loved at 18 was, and who was worth Su Wanwan's love for 6 years. Jiang Chenxi called me, questioning, "Chu Mu, is this what you wanted to see today? Do you want everyone to know that Su Wanwan almost went to jail because of you? Do you know how much human and financial resources I spent to erase her past? Do you know how much Su Wanwan sacrificed to get where she is today?" I knew she went abroad to study music, struggled with the language barrier, and was ostracized and insulted. She broke all her previous understandings of music, starting from scratch like a first grader. She was denied, questioned, and mocked. She was so proud, yet so tormented, gritting her teeth, learning word by word. in just 2 years. She returned triumphant because she lived each day as if it were two. Before returning to the States, she called me and cried, "Dummy, I can finally go back and see you. I miss you so much." For her to achieve what she has today, Su Wanwan's contract with the company stipulated that she was not allowed to announce her relationship before the contract expired. If she breached the contract, she would have to pay astronomical liquidated damages and would be blacklisted. Su Wanwan said that in front of reporters because the company kept hyping up her relationship with Jiang Chensi. She wanted to resist and also test her fans' attitudes. Su Wanwan told me privately, "The company went too far this time. They sent people to secretly photograph me and Jiang Chensi, maliciously picking angles to publish and hype us up. They just want to tie me down with Jiang Chensi. Even if I deliberately say that in front of the media, the company will handle the public relations. They won't endlessly hype it up. Su Mo, don't worry, I won't fall for anyone else." Su Wanwan and I had absolute trust. I wasn't jealous about Jiang Chensi. I just felt sorry for her because that act of defiance led to the company piling more work on her. Jiang Chensi found me and said, "Chu Mu, I understand now. No matter how much I pressure Su Wanwan, it's useless. In your relationship, only if you actively withdraw will Su Wanwan give up." So, after being diagnosed with cancer, I logged into my account and deleted the introduction to Cherry Blossom. I chose to break up with Su Wanwan because I was afraid that after I died, she would be alone. Our early lives were turbulent. For her later life, I hoped she would stand on stage and live proudly. In the hospital, I rejected the doctor's chemotherapy plan. Shin Qing sighed after hearing this. "I don't know whether to say you have a good mindset or you're giving up. I hadn't told my parents yet. I didn't know how to begin." I smiled. Shin Qing gazed at me for a long time before saying, "You were only 16 when you came to our house, wearing a blue shirt, handsome and quiet. Later, you learned to speak. When you saw me in the living room, I stood by you and didn't leave. It took you a long time to slowly call me Sister Shin Qing. I never told you, but when you practiced speaking on the balcony in your room, you repeatedly practiced Uncle Shin, Aunt Shin, Sister Shin Qing, and you'd often cry quietly when you didn't get it right. We could all hear you." I looked at her in surprise and exclaimed, "Then you used to always block me and force me to talk to you." Shin Qing laughed. "That was Mom and Dad's task. They hoped you could communicate more with people at home so you could at least have normal social interactions at school and not be bullied." I paused, tears welling up in my eyes. "Say a good goodbye to Mom and Dad this weekend." Shin Qing hugged me and patted my back. I softly said, "Okay." I returned to the Shin family home. Aunt and Uncle's eyes were red and swollen. They didn't ask about my condition, just gave me a hug. When I was leaving, they spoke to me. At night, I sat on the balcony, watching the stars. I received another message from Su Wanwan. "You never come to my concerts, so why do you want tickets this time? Who are you coming with?" Just then, Shin Qing came up to bring me some fruit. I thought for a moment, took a picture of Shin Qing, and sent it to Su Wanwan with the caption, "My girlfriend." Su Wanwan's phone calls immediately bombarded me, but I didn't answer. Shin Qing leaned over, sighed, and patted my arm in comfort. Half an hour later, Su Wanwan sent a message, "Chu Mo, I will announce my marriage to Jiang Chensi at the concert. Congratulations on your new beginning. I guess we can say we had a good breakup." I looked at it for a while but didn't reply. Even so, she still sent me 2 VIP tickets. I gave them to Chi Chi, who was incredibly excited. "Brother, these are VIP seats. You can't even buy them with money. And there's a chance to interact with Sister Wanwan." Her chemotherapy had been effective this time, and her usually pale face even had some color. I told Chi Chi a little secret. 2 minutes later, Chi Chi's scream nearly pierced the hospital roof. This little girl was in such good spirits. She didn't look like a cancer patient at all. She dazedly said, "You're the famous bowl of egg fried rice." Bowl of Egg Fried Rice was Su Wanwan's earliest fan site, established when she was 16. For years, it had shared photos and the latest news about Su Wanwan, accumulating many followers. Fans always said that Egg Fried Rice captured Su Wanwan in a way no one else could, clearly from a boyfriend's perspective. Su Wanwan even secretly liked those comments with her alt account, teasing fans for their lack of taste. I registered that account years ago when we were still in that small town. Su Wanwan was cooking in the kitchen, and I gestured to her with sign language. "Future superstar, Su Wanwan, I want to be your first fan group." Let's name the Weibo account. Su Wanwan poked my forehead and said, "Thank you so much, dummy. I don't even have a decent guitar. How can I become a superstar? Are you trying to tease me? Then let's call it Su Wanwan is a braggart." I wrote on a piece of paper for her. Su Wanwan snatched my phone and registered bowl of egg fried rice. She helplessly told me, "Thank you, future superstar's assistant. Can we eat now?" Back then, we lived in a tiny rental apartment, sharing a bowl of egg fried rice, whispering late into the cold nights. I would pretend to fall asleep early because after I was asleep, Su Wanwan still had to go to the hospital to see Aunt Shirley. Su Wanwan asked me, "Dummy, do you think I can really become a superstar and hold a concert at the National Stadium someday?" Her voice was full of self-doubt and weariness. Life had pushed us into a corner. No one dared to talk about dreams in the noisy daytime. Dreams were a luxury for us. Only in the dead of night did Su Wanwan dare to ask me this. I wrote in her palm, "Yes, you will. And then, the three of us will live in a big house. Aunt Shirley loves to bask in the sun. She'll lie on the balcony reading the newspaper. You'll play the guitar and sing. And me?" Su Wanwan smiled, but said nothing more. Only 8 years had passed since then, yet it felt like a century. Su Wanwan was now a sensation, and my illness was cured, but Aunt Shirley was gone, and we didn't live in a big house together. Lately, I often found myself reminiscing about my past with Su Wanwan. Perhaps this was a sign that I was about to die, with no future left. I kept replaying the past. "Brother, why are you crying?" Chi-Chi's soft hand wiped away my tears. She sighed, "You seem to have a lot of sad stories." I hugged her and said, "Your mom said you'll be able to control your condition after 3 more chemotherapy sessions. Brother wants to give you this Weibo account. Can you help me manage it?" Chi-Chi looked stunned. "Why, brother, are you going to switch allegiances?" I smiled and told her, "No, it's because I truly love Su Wanwan. So, I hope that after I'm gone, this love can continue through this Weibo account. Please keep updating it, okay? As long as this Weibo keeps updating, Su Wanwan won't know about my death. She'll marry Jiang Chensi and become an even more popular singer. She'll win many awards. It's just that her future won't include me." After giving Chi-Chi the bowl of egg fried rice Weibo account and the tickets, I took a cab home, not to the Shin family's house, but to the small apartment Su Wanwan had bought for me later, a 2-bedroom, 1 living room place, our little nest. As soon as I entered the living room, I received another message from Su Wanwan. She always sent me messages constantly, even though I rarely replied. "Did you get the tickets? Are you really coming with Shinqing?" I replied, "We'll see. You're just trying to annoy me." Su Wanwan quickly replied, adding 10 exclamation points to emphasize her protest. "I have to work now. If I finish early, I'll contact you." She sent a pouting emoji that looked like it was taken on the spot. Su Wanwan was puffing her cheeks and rolling her eyes, with some clumsy flame effects added to her head. I wondered what the staff thought when they saw her like that. Given that Su Wanwan was usually portrayed to fans as quiet and aloof, I slowly started cleaning the house, planning to sort through my things. After walking around the apartment, I realized Su Wanwan's belongings were everywhere. Her toothbrush was in the bathroom, her pajamas in the closet, her slippers by the shoe rack. Even her favorite guitar lay quietly in the study. I thought I was ready to say goodbye to her, but when I opened the refrigerator and saw the note stuck to it, I realized I wasn't strong enough. I clutched the note, lying on the floor, silently weeping. The note read, "There's soup stewing in the pot. Heat it for 10 minutes and it's ready to drink. I'll be out of the country for half a month. Don't order takeout. I'll have someone come to cook for you. Remember to message me when you wake up." At the end of the note, she drew a few stars with flames. This message was from 3 months ago. The soup in the refrigerator had long since gone bad. That morning, I hadn't had time to open the refrigerator. I went straight to the hospital. When I woke up, the person I saw was Shinqing. She brought me news. I had cancer, and the chances of a cure were slim. At that time, Su Wanwan was far away, performing in Singapore. After the diagnosis, I received a video call from her that very night. She hadn't removed her makeup yet and was in the dressing room. "You answered so fast." Su Wanwan looked at the time, then frowned. "Aren't you supposed to be having dinner with colleagues? Where are you?" "A park," I said. My life was simple: work, exercise, reading. Su Wanwan always took every word I said to heart. If something was even slightly off, she'd notice immediately. I took the video call from downstairs at the hospital. and she easily detected it. I softly told her, Su Wanwan. I deleted the cherry blossom description. Let's break up. Su Wanwan's face instantly changed. She knew I never threw tantrums. If I spoke, it meant I had made up my mind. Chu Mo, whatever you're going through, wait until I get back. I'll book a flight back tonight. Go home and wait for me, okay? Don't go anywhere. I smiled at her. Su Wanwan, I'm not throwing a tantrum. I just feel tired. Do you remember? On New Year's Day this year, when we had our date, a Saseing fan showed up. I was stabbed, and now I have a scar on my arm. The recent scandal was big, and Jiang Chenxi was the one who helped you cross the new year. You're still single, and now you like Jiang Chenxi. I'm like a shadow. I really don't want to continue like this anymore. Su Wanwan fell silent, pursing her lips, her brows furrowed deeper. It just goes to show, the more familiar you are with someone, the more you know what to say to hurt them. That incident had terrified Su Wanwan. She would wake up screaming from nightmares every night, crying several times in her sleep. I remembered after I came out of surgery, Su Wanwan held me, repeatedly calling my name, Chu Mu, dummy, you're okay, otherwise, I'd really go crazy. Her tears soaked my clothes. I joked, superstar, you cry so much. Su Wanwan, a sensitive person, always cried for me, and me, an outgoing and lively person, always smiled for her. Both Su Wanwan and I lived carefully and diligently for each other. Jiang Chenxi and Su Wanwan were very closely tied. She always felt guilty towards me. Being attacked by extreme fans was also a wound in her heart. I never brought up these two things, fearing she would feel burdened, but I never expected these two things to become my perfect excuse to push her away. I told her, Jiang Chenxi has been working with you these past few years. Seeing you two together, I actually felt hurt. I also told her, Su Wanwan, you know me, I don't like to complicate simple things. Don't put too much pressure on me, or I'll be very miserable. Su Wanwan didn't come to see me because she knew that once I became anxious, I would lose my voice. She only asked me to keep in touch. I had been in the hospital for these 3 months. This was my first time home. After clearing out the food in the refrigerator, I suddenly lost the strength to organize my things. When others clean their belongings before leaving, it's to leave mementos for their loved ones. But in this world, Su Wanwan was my only family. From the age of 6, we relied on each other. She stood on a stool to cook porridge for me, squatted in the yard to wash my clothes, and bought me new shirts with money she earned from collecting scrap. Su Wanwan was my lover, and also my family. When I was 16, Aunt Shirley passed away. We both had to go to school, eat, and rent a place. Even if Su Wanwan sang until her voice broke in bars, she couldn't support the two of us. Before Aunt Shirley died, she entrusted me to a friend of hers. No matter how much Su Wanwan and I hated to, we had to separate. I cried and told her, I can drop out of school, I can go to work. Su Wanwan forcibly sent me to the station, telling me to go to Beijing with Uncle Shen. At the station, Su Wanwan, with red eyes, told me, Chu Mu, wait for me to pick you up. After I arrived in Beijing, she called me every day, asking what I ate and if I was doing well. I was afraid she'd worry, so I'd take pictures before every meal and tell her what I did each day before going to sleep. A year after I went to Beijing, one evening while on the phone, Su Wanwan inexplicably asked me, have you been scared this year? I shook my head and told her I was fine, but Su Wanwan suddenly covered her eyes. After a long pause, she told me, how could you be doing well? You get nervous and scared when you meet strangers, and others can't understand your sign language. But Uncle Shen called me and said that after treatment at the hospital, you can already say a few simple words. Others don't know why you're mute, but I know that every time you force yourself to speak, you must remember what happened that night. She was talking about the night my mom died when I was 6. It was also from that day forward that I couldn't speak. Su Wanwan exposed me, and I stopped pretending to be happy. She was right. After I arrived at the Shen family's house, I pretended to be very cheerful. In reality, every day I secretly practiced speaking in my room. I practiced the words I wanted to say over and over again. I was afraid of disappointing Uncle Shen. Seeing a psychologist cost a lot of money. If I couldn't speak for a long time, I was afraid they would be disappointed. I could only force myself to keep practicing. Uncle Shen, Aunt Shen, Sister Shen Qing, they didn't know how many times I had to practice these simple titles quietly to say them smoothly. But Su Wanwan knew. We watched each other through the screen, silently shedding tears. Before Aunt Shirley passed away, she once contacted me and said, "Chumu, Auntie is leaving. The person I worry about the most is you, Suwanwan. That girl, even if she has to pick up scrap, she won't starve. But what about our Chumu? He can't speak and is shy and introverted. Chumu, your Uncle Shin will come to pick you up. He's a very kind person, but people might like more lively children. You need to behave well." At that time, Aunt Shirley didn't know if her relationship with Uncle Shin was enough to support me living well in the Shin family, so she taught me how to behave and deal with people. She told me to learn to please others and to always smile. She stroked my hair, her face full of worry. I wasn't a likable child. I was too quiet and lacked courage. I grew up in an unstable environment, feeling insecure and sensitive. My name was Chumu, but I didn't have the strength of a sunflower that turns towards the sun. I was more like a mimosa growing quietly in the corner, in the shadows. When there was wind, I would gently sway in an unseen place, but once it got lively, I would shrink back, not daring to make a sound. Children like me were never popular. In class, I was like a transparent shadow. Because of this, Aunt Shirley was even more worried. If Uncle Shin, whom I had never met, didn't like me, then my future was uncertain. That night, we lay together, and she talked to me for a long time. "Chumu, Auntie really wanted to wait for you to grow up, but it's too late." The next morning, I woke up, and Uncle Shin picked me up to go to Beijing to study and get treatment. Suwanwan and I were separated for 2 full years, only communicating by phone. When Suwanwan was 18, she came to Beijing. At the station, she ran through the crowd and hugged me. I looked at her and said, word by word, "Sister." Suwanwan stared at me for a long time. After a while, she managed to speak. "What sister? Don't call me that anymore." She also said, "Dummy, I'm so happy you can speak." Suwanwan squeezed my hand tightly, as if there was something more she wanted to say. I thought for a moment and told her. After I got better, the first 2 words I could say were Wan. For 2 years, I continuously saw a psychologist, and finally, I could communicate normally. I never told Suwanwan that her name was the first thing I wrote down after I could speak again. Suwanwan gripped my shoulders, her eyes red, laughing. I sat alone in the quiet room, recalling our past, and realized how much I missed her. After receiving Chi-Chi's call, I accepted her invitation. Suwanwan's fans were celebrating her birthday early, with dozens of fans gathered in a small banquet hall at a hotel, waiting for her. Chi-Chi got 2 spots and wanted to take me with her. "Brother, I'll help you keep managing the Weibo account," Chi-Chi said, fighting back tears. "You've loved her for so many years. You should have a proper goodbye, right?" So, I went. As a fan of Suwanwan, we sat in the last row. Everyone excitedly awaited Suwanwan's arrival. After about 10 minutes, Suwanwan appeared. She looked a bit tired. Chi-Chi quietly told me, "Sister Wanwan's been working so hard lately. We all feel bad for her." Everyone went to the studio's Weibo to protest. I was a little lost in thought. No wonder every time I received a message from her these past 3 months, she was in work mode. I didn't have time to think further as my thoughts were drowned out by the fans' screams. The moment she appeared, everyone screamed. Following everyone else, we raised our glow sticks and shouted loudly, "Suwanwan, I love you, forever and always." I also yelled with all my might, but I got the rhythm wrong. When everyone else stopped, I was still shouting, "Suwanwan, Suwanwan." My voice sounded abrupt in the suddenly quiet hall. Suwanwan, who had been a little distracted, looked up and glanced at me. I pulled down my mask, trying to avoid her gaze. Seeing this, Chi-Chi immediately shouted loudly, "This brother has liked you for a very, very long time. He specifically came here to support you." Suwanwan looked at me, a smile slowly spreading across her face, and softly said, "I know." I clutched the glow stick tightly, remembering the many years ago when I accompanied her while she sang at a bar. She was only 15 then. Aunt Shirley was too sick to work, so Suwanwan had to go out and sing illegally. After work late at night, the bartender would quietly make us 2 ice creams. We'd sit together, dreaming of the future. Suwanwan said, "Dummy, when I become a big star, you have to be at every concert and show. You have to stand in the front row and shout with the fans, and you have to shout the loudest, okay?" Suwanwan was painting a picture of the future, and I seriously agreed. We both once imagined her shining on a stage adored by thousands, and me in the audience, waiting as always for her to finish singing. But this was my first time attending her live concert, and it would also be my last. Fans chatted with Su Wanwan, like old friends. Someone brought up relationships, and everyone happily shared their love lives with Su Wanwan. When it was my turn, Su Wanwan asked me, "Friend, what about you? Is the person you loved in your youth still by your side?" She looked at me, her gaze firm and stubborn, as if she wouldn't give up until she got an answer. Meeting her slightly resentful eyes, I suddenly felt like smiling, but I didn't have time to answer, because Jiang Chenzi appeared. The moment she appeared, she captivated everyone's attention. Jiang Chenzi was radiant and looked incredibly well-matched with Su Wanwan. Fans loudly chanted Jiang Chenzi's name, excitedly saying, "Brother, they look so good together." Yes, they do look good together, I thought. I had felt that way for a long time. My first meeting with Jiang Chenzi was at a bar in Beijing. Su Wanwan came to Beijing to find me and kissed me for the first time at the station. Later, she stayed in Beijing, she worked, and I went to university. This way, we wouldn't have to be separated. Every weekend, I would go to the bar where she performed. I don't know when it started, but more and more people came to listen to her sing. Jiang Chenzi was one of them. She was already very handsome back then. Even in the dimly lit bar, everyone could spot her, but no one dared to provoke her. It was rumored that she came from a powerful family and always had bodyguards with her. I sat at the bar doing my homework, sipping the juice the bartender poured for me. Later, I often dreamt of those days, peaceful yet noisy. During Su Wanwan's breaks, we'd hide under the bar, leaning against each other, kissing. She looked at my backpack and called me, "You're already in college, still carrying your backpack everywhere, memorizing words, doing homework like a child. I always feel like I'm committing a crime." I blushed and didn't speak. University coursework was quite demanding. I had to strive for scholarships, so I took my studies very seriously. If I sing for another year, I'll be able to establish myself in Beijing. Su Wanwan envisioned the future. Then you can move out of the Shen family's house. That Shenqing always gives me dirty looks whenever she sees me. I defended, "She's just worried about me." Shenqing knew I was with Su Wanwan. She always thought that Su Wanwan, who hadn't attended university and was a bar singer, would hurt me. Su Wanwan sighed again. She should be worried. After all, what future can there be with someone like me? I felt bad for her and said, "You're wonderful." Su Wanwan immediately laughed, a little proudly. I realized she was teasing me. It was then that Jiang Chenzi found me. She looked at me for a while and said somewhat disappointedly, "I thought it was someone special that made Su Wanwan refuse my sponsorship. I didn't expect it to be such an ordinary person." "Su Wanwan is with you out of pity, isn't she?" Jiang Chenzi's words didn't sound malicious, merely stating her perception. This wasn't the first time I'd heard such things. Guys who pursued Su Wanwan at the bar often came to see me and ridiculed me. I truly didn't have any commendable qualities. Even when facing others' mockery, I couldn't speak up to retort. Although I could now speak, I still got nervous when confronted with malice. Su Wanwan heard Jiang Chenzi's words and said angrily, "You're disgusting. Chumu is the person I love. Who are you to say such things to her?" She quit her job at that bar and found another one. Su Wanwan's popularity remained as strong as ever. I stood in the corner, suddenly feeling a bit lost. If Su Wanwan were to become a big star in the future, could we still hold each other's hands in the noisy crowd? At that time, we didn't know that the gears of fate had already crushed us both. Neither Su Wanwan nor I escaped it. Rumors began to spread at school that I was working as a gigolo at a bar. Chumu from the media department? I heard his girlfriend is a high school dropout and a little hooligan. Isn't he working as a gigolo at a bar to support that girlfriend? There are so many scummy women these days. The rumors spread fiercely. I was even removed from the list of candidates for the national scholarship because of that incident. I never told Su Wanwan about these things, but those with ill intentions went to the bar where Su Wanwan sang. A few girls, drunk, went on stage and ridiculed Su Wanwan. "You're Chumu's woman, aren't you? Tell me, how much does your boyfriend charge per night?" I was pulled onto the stage by them. Su Wanwan got into a fight with them. That's when the chaos erupted. One of the girls was blinded in one eye by a broken bottle. Su Wanwan went to the police station. Even though the other party started the fight, Su Wanwan became the one at fault. Uncle Shen tried everything to help Su Wanwan, and wearily told me, "That person has a very strong family background. They insist on no compensation and want to send Su Wanwan to prison. Uncle went to visit an old friend today to see if there's any other way." It was clear that Su Wanwan and I were being bullied, but the rumors at school made it sound like the girls were fighting over me. The rumors portrayed Su Wanwan as a gold digger and me as a despicable man. I thought for a very long time and decided to stand up. I was very afraid of communicating with strangers and facing speculative gazes. When I stood in the square and saw everyone gathering around me, I almost fainted, but I knew I couldn't back down. Hundreds of students gathered because of Shen Qing's call. I held a megaphone, closed my eyes, and tried to swallow back my tears. It took me a full half-minute before I could speak. Hello, everyone. I'm Chumu from Class 3 of the Media Department. I believe you've all heard the rumors about me today. My girlfriend was assaulted by students from this school and accidentally injured one of their eyes during self-defense, causing her left eye to go blind. She is currently under investigation at the police station. The only thing I can do is testify for her here. She's never been a gold digger. In fact, for all these years, I've been receiving living expenses from her. Before I was 6, I grew up in a violent environment. My father was an alcoholic for many years and would beat my mother every day when he came home. At this point, I couldn't continue. I remembered the scene again, my mom stabbing my dad with a kitchen knife, as if she was releasing all the pain of those years, stabbing him repeatedly. I just sat on the sofa, watching the scene, and blood even splattered on my lower leg. Later, my mom sat limply on the slope. She turned to look at me, didn't say a word, then turned and jumped out the window. Much later, Aunt Shirley told me that my mom had been diagnosed with cancer and chose to die with my dad. She was afraid that if she died, she would leave me alone to be tormented by my dad. This was the only thing she, as a mother, could do for me while alive. I was trembling all over, tears streaming down uncontrollably. The faces of the students in the square seemed blurred. Many noisy voices flooded my ears, and I was in agony, almost fainting. He's making up stories to deceive people, isn't he? As expected of someone from the media department. At a time like this, he's still trying to gain sympathy. Why is he crying? We didn't do anything to him. His girlfriend, a bar singer, is a hooligan anyway. Everyone wasn't wrong to say that. I couldn't continue and fainted. Shen Qing took me to the hospital. Su Wanwan appeared at the hospital. She hugged me tightly without speaking. Behind her was Jiang Chenxi. Jiang Chenxi had settled Su Wanwan's matter with only one condition. Su Wanwan had to sign with her father's agency and go abroad to study with her. We sat under the starry sky, and Su Wanwan remained silent for a long time. It was I who finally looked up and said, Su Wanwan, go. You'll become a dazzling superstar. Then, buy me a big house, and we'll live together. I'll read and write. It sounds wonderful, doesn't it? I spoke very slowly, and she listened carefully. When I was 16, I said similar words, but at that time, Aunt Shirley was also in the plan. Now, at 18, when I mentioned it again, Aunt Shirley was gone. At that time, we were uneasy about the future but tried hard to include each other in our plans. Who could have known that by the time we were 24, Su Wanwan would be a superstar and have a big house, but we would have become I and her? Su Wanwan gripped my hand and told me that she could go abroad with Jiang Chenxi. Before they left, Jiang Chenxi told me, Chumu, do you know why Su Wanwan agreed? Because I told her that if she continued to work in bars like this, others would only look down on her. She would just be a high school graduate who worked in bars. And you, having such a girlfriend, would be gossiped about wherever you went. Chumu, we've known each other for 12 years, but what does that matter? Let's make a bet. There won't be a place for you by her side anymore. Jiang Chenxi thought she had won the bet. She appeared at the fan meeting, listening to the fans cheer, and her gaze towards me held a challenge. Jiang Chenxi and I are not what you think. Su Wanwan interrupted the fans' frenzy. She said, very seriously, word by word, everyone here today has supported me since my debut. The first song I released was called Cherry Blossom. It was written for the person I liked when I was 18. He's always been in my heart. Meeting you all before the concert is also because I hope that when I announce that person, everyone will send us blessings on Weibo and not attack him. Su Wanwan paused slightly here, then bowed to everyone. Please, will you help me protect him then? Chi-Chi stood on a chair and shouted, Sister, whoever you we'll always support you. Other fans roared enthusiastically, always support sister. Jiang Chenxi's smile slowly faded. I stood silently in the crowd. After the fan meeting dispersed, Chi-Chi went to the restroom, and I waited for her outside. Jiang Chenxi stopped me. Didn't you already break up with Su Wanwan? Why are you here? Jiang Chensi said arrogantly. What can you bring her by being with her? Look in the mirror. An ordinary person like you simply isn't worthy of her. In the 4 years I was with Su Wanwan, Jiang Chensi always said such things. She belittled my appearance, saying I was just an ordinary person who wouldn't make a splash in a crowd. Jiang Chensi said that if I hadn't met Su Wanwan early, I would never have had the chance to be with her. She even said that someone like me should just live in Beijing for a few years and marry an unremarkable woman. I never took Jiang Chensi's words to heart because I knew that the bond between Su Wanwan and me was unshakable. That's why she acted like a clown. You used Su Wanwan's WeChat to message me, saying she was going to announce her marriage to you. Why bother? I calmly told her, don't do that again. You know her temper. If she found out you were meddling, she definitely wouldn't let it go. Jiang Chensi's arrogant demeanor instantly crumbled. She raised her hand and slapped me hard, angrily saying, are you showing off the trust between you two? Su Wanwan owes everything she has today to me. The slap made my head spin. I fell to the ground, my head buzzing with pain. How did you spit blood? Jiang Chensi looked at me, shocked. I sat on the ground, recovering for a while, then looked up at her. Jiang Chensi, I have brain cancer. I'm dying. So Su Wanwan and I can never be together. Jiang Chensi's expression changed. Why are you telling me this? I'm telling you this so you can rest assured, I said, leaning against the wall to stand up, wiping the blood from the corner of my mouth. Su Wanwan has been working so much lately because she wants to earn enough money quickly to terminate her contract with your family, right? From Jiang Chensi's eyes, I knew I had guessed correctly. Back then, Su Wanwan went abroad to study music, and after returning, she was packaged as a wealthy heiress. Behind all this, the Jiang family was pulling the strings. At the table of capital, there was never a free lunch. Su Wanwan signed a 5-year, sky-high contract and had to pay a large sum of money to regain her freedom. Now, there was only 1 year left. She was so anxious now because she wanted to announce her relationship with me at the concert. The reason I gave her for breaking up, that I felt tired and didn't want to see her continue working with Jiang Chensi, probably weighed like a stone on Su Wanwan's heart. For these 3 months, she worked non-stop, visibly exhausted, even starting to eagerly appear on variety shows. Everything she did was to successfully terminate her contract and then be with me. Jiang Chensi, let's make a deal, I said quietly. As long as you terminate her contract, I'll lie to her and say I'm going abroad to marry Shenqing. That way, you'll still have a chance to be with her. Otherwise, if Su Wanwan knows I'm going to die, she'll never accept you again. A dead person is still a dead person. After all, Jiang Chensi bit her lip, then asked me, why should I believe you? I took out my medical report from my phone, and after Jiang Chensi read it, she agreed. After she left, I stood for a while, then went to find Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi saw my pale face and quickly said, you scared me. I've been looking for you everywhere, thinking you fainted somewhere. I didn't have the strength to say anything more to her and sent her back to the hospital. After returning home, I slept for a long time. When I woke up, it was raining heavily outside. There was a knock at the door. I opened it to see Su Wanwan standing outside, completely drenched. She held a contract in her hand and hugged me tightly. Chu Mu, I terminated my contract with the company. I'm free. We're both free. I'll announce our relationship at the concert. Will you marry me? I could tell Su Wanwan was very excited. She ran over so recklessly, not caring if she was photographed. I led her into the apartment and got her some dry clothes. Su Wanwan, I'm going abroad with Shenqing, I said softly. She's going abroad for 4 years for further studies, and I'm going with her. Su Wanwan frowned. Are you going for grad school? You never mentioned it before, but it's good to see the world. I'll go with you anyway. I'm free now. I can arrange my own work. I was silent for a moment. We plan to get married. Su Wanwan, holding the towel, looked up at me as if she hadn't understood my words. Are you mad that I didn't come to see you these past 3 months? Su Wanwan said anxiously. I was busy with the contract termination. I didn't come to you because I was afraid Jiang Chensi would cause you trouble. Chu Mu, I know you broke up with me because you were tired. I'll slowly transition. The company used to position me as a popular singer, which is why there were so many radical fans. Once I transition, you won't have to be afraid of being attacked, she explained anxiously. I listened calmly. Su Wanwan looked at me, gradually quieting down, tears welling up in her eyes. She understood. I wasn't joking with her. Just then, Shenqing opened the door, carrying takeout. Su Wanwan glanced at Shinqing, and for a moment, the air froze. Su Wanwan asked me, "Are you living together, Chu Mu? Are you serious?" I nodded. Su Wanwan rushed out, afraid she couldn't control herself and would lose her temper, which would upset me. I suddenly coughed up a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground. Shinqing ran over and hugged me, heartbroken, saying, Why do this?" I closed my eyes, tears streaming down, and said, "When my mom was diagnosed with cancer, what kind of feelings did she have when she decided to kill my dad? As a child, I didn't understand why my mom chose to leave in that way. Now I understand, because of love. So, before she died, she used her meager strength to give me freedom." The genius singer Su Wanwan held a concert at the National Stadium. Her set list included a new song called Cherry Blossom. While singing this song, she wore a white t-shirt and faded jeans, holding a guitar. At that moment, she seemed to shed all her glamour and return to her teenage years. In her youth, she played a cheap guitar, singing in a chaotic bar. At that time, there was a boy who would sit at the bar, quietly listening to her sing. Now, she had tens of thousands of fans, but she had lost the first person. I used to sing this song only for one person. He didn't come to this concert, but I know he'll be listening to me sing. Su Wanwan finished the song and told everyone, "This concert is my farewell concert." Instantly, the audience was in an uproar. No one understood what was happening. Su Wanwan was a sensation, a talented singer with a beautiful appearance. In the struggling music industry, her albums still sold exceptionally well. Many people said her appearance had saved the Chinese music industry. But now, she was saying this was her farewell concert. No one noticed that a small boy in the VIP section was crying hysterically. Su Wanwan sat on the edge of the stage, smiling, and said, "When I debuted, the company packaged me as a genius singer who studied abroad, creating a very mysterious image. Actually, I'm not some rich socialite with a special background. I was born in a small city, graduated from high school, and never went to college. My mom wasn't from a wealthy family either. She raised me by singing in bars. When I was 16, she passed away from illness. I also have a younger brother. After he lost his parents, he lived with us. This song, Cherry Blossom, was his 18th birthday gift. I used to tell the media that I had a boyfriend, the one I liked when I was 18, that's my younger brother. I'm very sorry for hiding it for so long. For the past 4 years, because of your support, I've been able to stand here and sing. Our shared dream was for me to become a superstar and buy a big house because we didn't have money for heating, and winters were always cold. So, he would always say we should live in a warm, bright big house in the future. When he first mentioned this dream at 16, my mom was sick, and he said it hoping the three of us would never be separated. At 18, he brought up this dream again, hoping I could go abroad for further studies with peace of mind. We separated twice in this life. At 16, forced by life, he went to Beijing alone, and I worked in the small town to support myself. After 18, after only half a year together, we separated again. I studied hard abroad, and he waited for me to return home. Su Wanwan choked up, unable to continue. She tightly clutched the microphone, repeatedly chanting Chu Mu's name in her heart, as if that was the only way to support herself to continue speaking. They had loved each other quietly in times unknown. This time, Su Wanwan was going to announce to the world that she had once deeply loved a boy, even though she had lost him. She once thought every separation was for a better reunion, but now, it seemed separation was just separation. This sad word, even when imbued with fervent expectation, couldn't change its sorrowful core. The fans in the venue looked somewhat stunned, seemingly struggling to digest so much information. Su Wanwan on stage was already crying uncontrollably. All the tears she shed in her life were for Chu Mu. All the vulnerability she showed in her life was for Chu Mu. At 16, separated for 2 years, she suffered but also looked forward to reuniting. At 18, separated for 2 years, she missed him but also looked forward to the future. But this time, in this separation, she only had suffering and longing left, no longing for the future, because Chu Mu's future now included someone else. No matter what, we love you, the fans roared, reacting. Sister, don't cry, you are Su Wanwan. We love your songs. The fans' enthusiasm, like a summer heat wave, swept through everything. Su Wanwan's eyes were red. She looked up at the sky and said, "At this moment, he's already on a plane going abroad. He's going to marry someone else. He doesn't have brother Chu Mu. He wasn't going to marry a little boy. Chi-Chi suddenly ran onto the stage, her eyes swollen from crying, desperately holding up her phone. Sister Wanwan, brother Chumu is dying. He told Jiang Chensi he was going abroad to get married to trick her into terminating your contract. Sister Wanwan, brother Chumu really loves you. Please say something to him. He's been listening to your concert. He's not doing well. Chi-Chi climbed onto the stage through the crowd and reached Su Wanwan. A boy appeared on the big screen. He looked gentle, with soft features and a pale complexion. He lay on a hospital bed, smiling through tears, and said, Su Wanwan, don't cry, so many people are watching. This was Su Wanwan's beloved, appearing in public for the first time, under the gaze of tens of thousands of fans. He was saying goodbye to Su Wanwan. Chumu closed his eyes. Su Wanwan was sobbing uncontrollably. She ran frantically out of the venue. Last night, I had a dream about you. You smiled and asked why I kept staring at you. I asked you, with red eyes, why you were leaving me. I guess this is what it means when longing penetrates deep into your bones, so much that even dreams refuse to let go. On February 14, 2025, tens of thousands of Weibo profiles changed to a uniform gray avatar. Tens of thousands of Weibo users posted the same message. So, suicide for love isn't just an ancient legend. The genius singer Su Wanwan, who became a top artist in just 4 years, committed suicide by taking sleeping pills in a hospital after her concert at the National Stadium. Before her death, she posted on Weibo, "The man I liked when I was 18 is named Chumu. Bowl of egg fried rice." Subsequently, Bowl of Egg Fried Rice also posted a Weibo message, "Cherry Blossom."